Fluttershy, Ember, and True Love by Switchdown. Being the Dragon Lord is a very consuming work, especially to be on diplomatic missions and even to ruling the entire kingdom by herself. Even she had several advisors telling her what to do and what not to do. Ember just wanted to rule her kingdom with peace. And now since the ponies and the dragons has maintained peace for over 2 years, she actually likes to be the Dragon Lord. With her ruling, there have been new development in Dragonlands. New cities has been built, and even some cities has been built near the border between the Ponykind, the Equestria and the Dragonlands, which is inhabit both dragons and dragons. Ponies and dragons. But just one thing that she most wanted, the absolutely most, to settle down with her own family. The former Dragon Lord Torch, her father, had often ensured her to settle down with a male dragon. But she was not into dragons at all. The only type of creature she was into was ponies. She's actually been in love with her friend Fluttershy for nearly 2 years. She hasn't told any pony except Spike. Spike was very surprised to hearing that from Ember that she was in love with Fluttershy. But one day she actually wrote a letter to Twilight that she is coming over for a visit. And Twilight was very surprised but just happy to see her again. And she put her advisors and Gorbel as the acting Dragon Lord. Gorbel has been very much improving himself. He has become friendly to all the dragons, all the ponies, and especially Spike, which they have been friends for nearly 2 years as well. Amber was hoping to see Fluttershy when she is coming to Ponyville, but it turns out Fluttershy wasn't even in Ponyville. She was away to Manhattan to see a friend who lives there. She was going to be away for about maybe a few days. Amber was very hoping to see her before she had to go back home. So she spent a lot of time with either with Twilight or Applejack. She had become very close friends with all of Twilight and her friends. But during the time, she could not wait to see Fluttershy. I mean, she was so deeply in love with Fluttershy, she even visited her cottage, with Applejack, to look after the animals. Of course, the animals were very afraid to see a dragon, but Applejack, with Spike, had ensured them that Amber is a good dragon and she is a friend. Angel knows that Amber's a friend, and he actually told the animals that she was actually in fact a good friend. In the next 2 days, Amber was so happy to know that Fluttershy is going back home the next day. She was very happy to see her. When Fluttershy came back, she was happy to see Fluttershy, and even she was happy to see Amber. Ember and Fluttershy spent a lot of time together, either at town or at her cottage. At some point there, Amber had actually informed Twilight and Rarity that she is in love with Fluttershy. But then the time came when Amber had to go back home to ruling her kingdom. But she always had invited that she told Fluttershy that she is always welcome to her kingdom at any time when she wants. Fluttershy thanks for the invitation, but didn't take much long time, because only nearly a week later, Fluttershy actually sent a letter to Ember informing her that she is actually going to Dragonlance to see how the animal treatments. She had received some message that some of the animals in the city near the border has been feeling ill lately. So she's going there to help to see how she can help the animals. Amber, even that she hasn't going to take any break from her work, but she told her advisors that she's going to check out to some sort of expectation in the city near the border, which the advisor said no problem. They had no mind that because she often visited that particular town from time to time. And this time she actually was waiting to see Fluttershy. She actually helped Fluttershy with some of the animals. In fact, Amber had actually started in love with the animals, very much alike. And even Fluttershy had been invited by Ember to stay in the Dragon Lord Palace for her during her visit. And Fluttershy had no mind to stay in that question actually. And she actually had very good time with Ember. But deep down, she had actually a small crush on Ember. But at the same time, she was very curious and also shy to even admit that to Ember. She hadn't even admitted to any of her friends or family. Some of her friends had wondered if she were to date some pony, because ever since she moved to Ponyville, she has not ever been on a date ever, except for one. That was just one stallion, but it turns out he was only asked her out to be friendly, but she didn't mind. But during that, she had actually been a crush on Amber for nearly about a year, but she was afraid to tell her just in case if Amber didn't like her back in the same way. But she was hoping to at least admit that to her, but she at least wanted to tell her directly, not over letters. But over time, when she was in Dragonlance, she became even feeling more closer to Ember than even since for the past year. They had actually been writing letters to each other back and forward for the past 6 months. They always ask me questions like how the Dragonlance have been going on and how the animals and the cities have been developing. And Amber had asked how the life in Ponyville has been going on for her, how her animal friends are taken care of, and how her friends and so just small talk kind of things. And Fluttershy didn't mind any of those questions. But one day she wanted to tell Amber directly how she feels for her. But this time she wanted to tell her directly. And unfortunately, since Fluttershy is going back home within a couple of days, so she decided to tell her right when she's there. And she actually did. Only the next day, she told Amber the whole truth about her feelings. She was quickly to be rejected by Amber, but in fact, Amber kissed her. That made Fluttershy very stunned and mostly surprised. But it turns out, Amber had a crush on her as well, which made her even more surprised. Even if Amber wanted to be with Fluttershy, they talked to each other maybe if they could spend some more time. And since Amber had her duties as a Dragon Lord, but Fluttershy decided to stay in Dragonlance a bit longer so they can get to know each other. And Amber had no mind against that. They took nearly about maybe a week after that Fluttershy came back home when she met her news to her friends and family that she and Amber is dating. At the same time, Torch was surprised, but he was supporting to his daughter's choice. But at some point when later on there, Fluttershy decided to go back to Dragonlance just for a visit, but on the way there, she was kidnapped by a group of ponies, robbers. They heard that she is the partner of Amber, and they thought if they could keep her as a prisoner and keep wanting her, letting Amber know they want to release her in a ransom for a number of gems. They even sent out a message to Amber. She immediately delivered the same message back to her friends and family. All of them was totally shocked. They had never experienced anything like it. They thought that Fluttershy could be hurt. In fact, during the time when she was in prison, she was terrified, so deeply terrified. But luckily, it was a witness who saw all the kidnapping and matched the point near the direction where the kidnappers took off. Amber, with a number of dragons, with the Twilight and her friends, managed to capture the ponies, sentenced them to life in prison without parole in Tartarus. Fluttershy was terrified. It took her nearly a month to recover from her fear. But Amber was there at her side every day. She didn't want to go away. And after that, Fluttershy had actually managed to recover from her fear. Amber proposed to Fluttershy. That took all her friends and family as much as a surprise. But Fluttershy didn't need a moment to even think for an answer. She said yes immediately. Amber was so happy. She thought that Fluttershy would say, "I need more time to think." But she said yes right away. The wedding was going to be held at Sweet Apple Acres within the next 2 months. Both Amber and Fluttershy was not nervous at all on their wedding day. Both were so excited and was looking forward to the whole day. Amber could notice that her family actually had accepted her. At first they were a little bit skeptical of that in this relationship would even work, but it turns out it works perfectly. And later on, Amber and Fluttershy went to a small place near the Dragonlance to celebrate their honeymoon for the next 4 weeks. They had the greatest time watching the sunset together, just had this amazing time. It was just the perfect moment to be with their true love. And they even found out later on that they wanted to have a family. So they asked Twilight for help. And she actually said yes, they want to help them. And with Twilight's help, Amber became pregnant and laid an egg. And a few months later, it hatched to a daughter, which they named Clover Fire. Clover Fire was the first known dragon hybrid with a pony. She was very beautiful. She has the great singing talent like her mother. But she always remained silent. Because she was a bit shy when she grew up. But that makes sense because her mother, Fluttershy, was also quite shy when she was adult and shy as a filly. But she actually grew up to be more like her mother. And she actually became in the second line to be the next Dragon Lord. Cloverfire actually spent a lot of time with her grandparents in Cloudsdale. They was actually happy to have a granddaughter. But in the most they had even decided to actually said to give Pinky and Severity as the godmothers to Cloverfire. And at some point there, she actually became married to a stallion from Cloudsdale, and they had 2 sons and 1 daughter of their own. 4 years later, Fluttershy became pregnant and she gave birth to a daughter named Glory Flare. Glory Flare was more upset than her mother. She was open, she was more outspoken, she loved to have adventures, singing, and she was very much very like her other mother, Ember. She was full of life. She loved to fly around with her friends and family and even singing. But was there something else she loved, and that was actually teaching others. But she always had also had inherited the ability to talk to animals, like her older sister. She even became part-time vet like her mother, and also an acting teacher. She loved to acting, and she actually became a full-time actor teacher in Ponyville. And one of the actors, she fell in love with him. And they later actually became married only 4 years later, and they decided to run to start their own acting school. And they did. And they later had 4 daughters of their own, and every one of them except for one became doctor and other 3 actors. And that's how Amber and Fluttershy found a true love and got a big family. The end.